Today we are going to revisit the build of the Odroid H4 computer. The H4 model is a little different from the H4 Plus and H4 Ultra. The most obvious differences are that it only has a single Ethernet port, and also has no SATA ports. You can see this quite clearly from the motherboard. These omissions brought the cost of the board down. As with the other H4 models, there is a single M2 format NVMe slot on the underside of the board for your SSD, above which is the single RAM slot supporting up to 48GB of memory. What I wanted to do with this basic H4 model was to explore the possibilities for expansion. Odroid have provided two NVMe expansion boards that will fit in the M2 slot, giving you the option of having either a 2 or 4 slot board. The M2 slot on the motherboard has 4 PCI lanes, and here we're going to fit the 4 slot expansion, which will dedicate one PCI lane for each expansion slot. This reduction of PCIe lanes will of course reduce the access speed to any NVMe SSDs plugged in, but will give you the option of having more storage. Additionally, with 4 available slots, it does open the possibility of having something other than an NVMe SSD in one of the slots. The addition of this expansion card does involve flashing an alternate version of the BIOS to support the new M2 slots. As this motherboard has no SATA ports, I decided to dedicate one of the 4 M2 slots to a SATA converter board, allowing in theory up to 6 SATA drives, admittedly sharing one PCIe lane. The use of an M2 riser card allowed the SATA converter board to be mounted vertically in the frame, minimizing any cable clutter under the motherboard. With this in place, I could easily add 2 SATA drives and then look to the power supply. As this Odroid board has no means of supplying SATA power, I needed to add a small HDPlex ATX style PSU to work in tandem with the larger 19V HDPlex AC to DC converter. So now that everything has been operational for about a year, how has it performed? The H4 model has the same processor, the N97, as the H4 Plus. So the only difference between these models are the removal of the SATA data and power ports on the H4 basic model. Plus, the H4 Plus does have a dual BIOS feature, not available on the basic H4. Both models will even support 3 monitors, 1 HDMI and 2 DisplayPort. I've had no issues whatsoever with this computer, and while the reduction of PCIe lanes for the NVMe drives does slow access to the SSDs, it's not an issue in the role I'm using this computer for. So is there anything I would have changed in the design of this computer? In reflection, probably not. The M2 expansion board does give this computer and the other models in the H4 series a lot of options. But that's it for today. Thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching today's video. Please feel free to click on the link in the description below to discover more videos.